Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. Jesse Chavez began his rehab assignment last night and made his first outing. He threw 24 pitches, gave up a couple of hits, a walk, but he didn't give up a run. Obviously, there's still some rust there, and I think they'll give him a couple more outings in there. But I don't know how many more outings they'll give, because just like Kyle Wright, you got a guy that's been out for 3 months. You need to kind of see him against Major League pitching, because right now, when you talk about guys like Kyle Wright, you talk about guys like Jesse Chavez and even Dylan Lee that just went on, none of them can really be viewed as reliable relievers, at least at this point. Like, you got to see them like throw and do well if you're going to toss them into a playoff game come October. So you need to see more from all those guys. So I think the fact that he threw 24 pitches, it pretty much tells me he's as stretched out as he needs to be. And I don't think it's going to be too long before we see him in the majors. I don't see any reason why it should be, especially if we clinch today. I mean, it's all gravy.
Yeah, it's, even if we don't clinch today, it's all gravy. We need to see him, and we need to see him now. Season's winding down only a couple more weeks. I am holding out hope that, the guy already threw 24 pitches. He looks like he's ready to go. I know that he loaded the bases. He still got out of it, and that's prime Jesse Chavez. He's in midseason form, and he would be a huge piece to this bullpen if he can make it back, even resembling what he was earlier in the season. And if he can regain total form, I mean, what a weapon out of the bullpen.
Yeah, because as we've talked about, the back end of this bullpen with Colin McHugh going down, likely out for the season. Nick Anderson still doesn't look like he's going to come back this season. Dylan Lee now on the IL, probably not going to come back this season. Outside of those top 5 to 6 guys, maybe you throw Kyle Wright into that mix if he looks better down the stretch. But you really need a guy like Jesse Chavez to get back. I mean, we're talking about a guy who had a 1.55 ERA over 29 appearances. I mean, he looked like he was having a career year at 40 years old, and he was probably going to make his first All-Star game. At least he was deserving. I know that relievers kind of get screwed in the All-Star thing, and they just kind of go with the best guys, whatever. That's not the point. The guy was having a career year, and he's been clutch. And not only that, he was striking out like 11 guys per 9. This guy hasn't been like a huge strikeout guy over his career. So if they could get even close to that level of guy, that's another huge piece to the bullpen. But as Brian Snitker said, talking about Dylan Lee, talking about Colin McHugh, talking about Jesse Chavez, and you can throw Kyle Wright in the same bag, none of these guys you can consider reliable until you see him against major league hitters. The good news is you got 3 weeks right now to toss them against major league hitters regularly and throw them back into the fire. If they struggle a little bit, the Braves lose some games, so be it. But this is the time, if anything, to get these guys as ready as they possibly can be for October. And I think we're going to see the focus shift to that down the stretch.
Yeah, this is the time to figure it out because it's all gravy. As I just said before, it's all gravy. All we're doing is building to October, figuring out who needs to be on the roster, who doesn't quite need to be on the roster. And listen, the Braves bullpen ranks in the top, 5 to 10 of pretty much every major metric. But outside of Raciel Iglesias, AJ Minter, Pierce Johnson, and Joe Jimenez, I don't trust any of the guys. I know Kirby Yates has done it, and he's been very solid this year. Michael Tompkins in that same breath where he's been very, very solid this year. Personally, I just can't trust him right now. I trust Jesse Chavez more than either of those guys. And if he can make his way back, I would love it. I mean, he is the guy I'm keeping my eye on.
Yeah, I mean, if Jesse Chavez comes back and is, like I said, anything close, I mean, not only do you trust him, he's right in the middle of those, if you have like a circle of trust and maybe you have 4 guys, I would throw Tonkin in there. I think he's deserved it. He's pitched in a number of ways, but he'll definitely be involved in that. Coming up after the break, the NHL says they are open to a 3rd stint of hockey in Atlanta.